Good morning. I'm Reverend Moore Horton, senior minister here, and I'm here to welcome you this morning. It is a pleasure indeed to see so many here with their smiling, bright faces on Memorial Day weekend. And I think our first thing to do is to sing this morning. So I'd like to stand up and sing Peace Like a River. Yes.
Love the enthusiasm. Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
If you are up for it, please stand and join me in singing Peace Like a River. I've got peace like a river, I've got peace like a river, I've got peace like a river in my soul. I've got peace like a river, I've got peace like a river, I've got peace like a river in my soul. Love, I've got love like the ocean, I've got love like the ocean, I've got love like the ocean in my soul. I've got love like the ocean, I've got love like the ocean, I've got love like the ocean in my soul. Strength like a mountain. Ready? I've got strength like a mountain, I've got strength like a mountain, I've got strength like a mountain in my soul. I've got strength like a mountain, I've got strength like a mountain, I've got strength like a mountain in my soul. Let's see that joy. Yeah? I've got joy like a fountain, I've got joy like a fountain, I've got joy like a fountain in my soul. I've got joy like a fountain, I've got joy like a fountain, I've got joy like a fountain in my soul. I've got peace like a river, I've got peace like a river, I've got peace like a river in my soul. I've got peace like a river, I've got peace like a river, I've got peace like a river in my soul. Very nice, thank you.
Well, golly. Oh, there they are. You know, this weekend is Memorial Day weekend. Tomorrow I'll be singing with the Oregon Senators up at the Lake Oswego area and at a memorial for veterans. And it's just good to remember. It's good to remember lots of things, but it's good to remember that many people have given of themselves in need of their lives to be able to allow us to have the freedom to associate in this chapel, to associate in various chapels, in various churches throughout the nation. And we just remember them this morning. And it's a good time, too, to remember those who might have, we have known personally, who may not have been in the military, but who've gone before. So it's just a good time of remembrance. And I like that hymn that we sing occasionally, loves to love, serve, and remember. We're remembering a little bit this morning all those aunts and uncles and maybe dads and granddads who've served. Now, I will ask, is there anyone joining us for the first time? Welcome. Welcome. Hilda, all right? Have you gotten a packet of information yet about the chapel? You got it. Okay, good. We'd love you to keep in contact if you enjoy what you hear today. Please join us in fellowship after this morning's service. It's a good time for some snacks and conversation. We're having a new class starting June the 4th, and our practitioner, Cheryl Guess, would like to speak to it.
Hi, I'm starting a new class. It's based on the 4 agreements. We had a whole talk series in March, I believe it was. Yeah, in March. We had a whole talk series What's cool about the Four Agreements, it's a Toltec Indian thought, philosophy, if you want to call it. But it comes down to how did you get domesticated into becoming the person that you are now, and what can you do to release yourself from that domestication? So it's really a great book, and I really enjoyed this class. I've taught it before, and it's fabulous. And I really hope you'll join us. It's going to be on Tuesday evenings. It's from 6 till 8:30. The course material is going to be $5, but that provides you with all the class information. The two books that you'll need is, of course, The Four Agreements by Don Miguel Ruiz, and the other one is Living the Science of Mind. It's kind of like the Reader's Digest version of SOM, sort of. So, Science of Mind. Anyway, I hope you'll all join us. And if you want to, there's sign-up sheets in the library. So, thank you.
You're invited to join our Friday afternoon book club from 2 to 3:30 in the Woodland Chapel Library here, right through those doors. Everyone is welcome. Our new book is Integral Spirituality by Ken Wilber. This year's calendar of events is available in the library if you'd like to take a look. There's quite a lot coming up. There's a volunteer luncheon scheduled. Volunteer luncheon is scheduled on June the 8th, so not this next Saturday, but the following Saturday. And it will be at 1 o'clock and be right here in our hospitality room. Childcare is available during our services. There are prayer requests in the pew. You should see one there if you'd like some special need you like prayed for. One of our practitioners will do that. And if you'd like to just tell us what a great thing happened because of prayer, that would be good too. If you're feeling called to service, just talk to me or to Reverend Don or to Cheryl or to Cheryl Ostrander is out there somewhere. There she is. Or any of the ministry team. We'd be happy to plug you in. Science of Mind magazine May-June issue is available in the library for $10. Are there any other announcements that need to be made? So potluck next Sunday, you want to bring some good food. We always have plenty, and it's a lot of fun. Okay, I think we're ready for our opening prayer. And again, Cheryl Guess will provide that.
Good morning. I just invite you to get comfortable in your seat and just listen and feel the words that are spoken, knowing that even though I speak in the first person, I speak for you as well. So I know that there is this one power, this one universal energy, this mighty force that is what is within you, that is this creation that we are. We are aspects of this beautiful, wonderful power here to express God in all the major, wonderful ways that God is. We express love. We express light. And we are life. We are joy. We are power. We are peace. And we are complete and whole just as we are. And I just know that everyone that is present today allows their heart to open, to hear the word that is spoken, to take with them some little some little nugget of truth that expresses through their own lives, or that awakens within them something that is new and fresh, something that is the truth of who they are. And so I have so much gratitude now in my heart for everyone present and for those that are not present, as I know that the love and all the joy that fills this chapel just radiates out into the universe, that we have an impact on life. We have an impact on love. And so with this gratitude, I just release my word, knowing that everything unfolds in divine right order as we proceed. And we are blessed by the speakers and by all the people that have come together to make this possible. So if this resonates with you, please join me in saying, "And so it is." I'd like to share with you the affirmation of the day. Please join me in saying, "In this moment, I'm making space to contemplate the truth of who I am. These insights let me see my role as a spiritual being in this human experience. I am so empowered, and so it is.
Our reader this morning is Shannon Preem. Shannon will be reading from Science of Mind. Okay.
Good morning. Today's reading from the Science of Mind magazine, I have chosen as the reading for actually today, May 26th. It's part of the daily guides. This month's guides in May were written by Reverend Brian Alexander. He was co-founder of Soul Evolution Collaborative, a Centers for Spiritual Living teaching center. The message for today is called Enjoy the View. I especially like this one because it sets a nice tone for what it takes to create a positive vision. Here are his thoughts. First of all, it starts with an interesting thought that I really love. This is from Michael Bassey Johnson, who wrote Night of a Thousand Thoughts. When you are friends with your storm, you dance instead of getting blown away. I have moderate fear of heights. I'll rephrase. I am terrified of heights. This became apparent as I was ziplining over a 300-foot gorge in Mexico. I got halfway across when both my momentum and bravery gave out. There I was, dangling 300 feet in the air, and the other side seemed like a mile away. It was so far away that all the others who successfully completed their adventure looked like moving dots. Tunnel vision and panic set in. Not a good combination for dangling. And then, like a caped hero, my guide swept in and delivered me safely to the other side. Fast forward to today. I am still afraid of heights. As I remembered this story recently, I couldn't help but think how it relates to our experience of stepping into new ideas, new ways of being, and new ways of showing up in the world. The experience, often when we set the intention of stepping out into our comfort zones, we find the experience unsettling, uncomfortable, sometimes even terrifying. We may not know what lies ahead, and that can feel much like dangling from 300 feet. Then in swoop spiritual practices, universal truths, and our beloved community, like masked heroes gently taking us by the hand and guiding us forward to steady ground. When we can lean into that support, we find ourselves buoyed, maintained, and sustained. Our dangling is replaced by being grounded. It is from this space that we can truly enjoy the view. And the affirmation this concludes with is, I am grounded by the awareness that I am individualized expression of the divine. Thank you. And one last vision that I have is that I see strawberry shortcake and ice cream after the service.
So be sure to join us for hospitality if you want some ice cream and shortcake. Wow. We are at the point of having a little musical introduction for a special speaker who has transported herself all the way from Idaho to come and speak to us today. Our very own Reverend Julie Applegate will be addressing us. She's talking about a vision. Now, what kind of vision could that be? I don't know. We'll find out when she talks. All right?
Yes. All right, this is a song that I wrote a few years ago called Ready to Soar. As leaves are falling from the trees, I let the fear fall far from me. I wonder if those trees ever feel pain. When one door closes, people say, a new one opens right away. It's It's up to us to keep an open heart. Ooh, I'm gonna take the leap. I don't know where I'm landing, but I'll land on my 2 feet. Now I'm ready to soar. I'll keep an open heart to find that open door. When the life I had for years expanded and grew beyond my fears, I embraced the change in my reality. Everything I ever need is waiting deep inside of me. So here I am, I'm ready for the call. Ooh, I'm gonna take the leap. I don't know where I'm landing, but I'll land on my 2 feet. Now I'm ready to soar. I'll keep an open heart to find that open door. Oh, I'm gonna take the leap. Oh, I don't know where I'm landing, but I'll land on my 2 feet. Now I'm ready to soar. I'll keep an open heart to find that open door. Oh, I'll keep an open heart to find that open door. Thank you very much.
Wow, thank you, Ari. Don't you just love her voice? It is so soothing and so perfect for today. Thank you so much. And a strawberry shortcake. Okay, so on the way down here, and I hate to tell these things, but I'm forced to do it. So my husband is saying, do we have potluck today? And I'm like, no. And he says, how about soup for the soul? I said, no. And he's like, oh. I said, but you get to hear me talk. so strawberry shortcake, Paul. That'll, yeah. So anyway. So Memorial Day, you know, when I was growing up, it was called we called it Decoration Day. Did anyone do that? Yeah, Decoration Day. And I didn't know. I mean, we always went to the cemetery on all the relatives, and it just happened where we lived, the lilacs and the irises and the snowball bushes were all in bloom, and so all that would be taken to the graves on Decoration Day. And I didn't know for a long time that it was memorializing service. That as service people and how that started and whatever way it started, I think it's so important that we honor all that has gone before us. And so I really love this day, and Paul and I usually are often in Hepner at the family cemetery, you know, where there's generations. And I spend a lot of time in cemeteries. I think because they tell stories. Does anyone else do that? There is such a story that is told in these. And so, yeah, so I think it's an important day and to honor all of those who have been in service. And I do have a story. Now, you guys, I'm not Dawn, so be respectful of this. So it's about Memorial Day. And there was a minister, and he was talking to this little fellow. You know, we have a children's program downstairs, and kids do, what is that, Art Linklander? I don't want to date myself, but say the darndest things. So he was, this little guy, Alex, was staring up at this a large plaque that hung in the foyer of the church. And the plaque was covered in all these names, and it had little American flags by it. And as he's staring up that, the pastor said, "Good morning, Alex." And the young man said, "You know, what is all of that on the plaques?" And he said, "Well, son, it's a memorial. It's to all the men and women who have died in service." And they kind of stood together observing for a while, and little Alex finally said, "Is that the meditation or the 11 o'clock?" Thank you. I know I'm not done, but yeah. So today we're exploring the power of vision, and I love this idea of vision, because I think in some ways everything's a vision. And I was sitting back in the prayer room this morning and thinking about vision, and you know, still working in ministry. And I thought, why am I doing this? And I thought, I have a vision that everyone can be touched by this teaching like I was. It's like payback. It transformed my life. And so I hold this vision of all of our lives, and lives that we aren't even aware of, that go out and are touched and transformed by this teaching. And so I really hold that vision for all of us today. And vision is powerful. And I was thinking also that really prayer is a form of vision. Prayer, so what is not? You know, I see the wholeness in everyone that I pray for in the morning. And so we're exploring this topic today, the power of vision. And so what I say is there is a power in vision. And what I want to explore today is this: how to unleash that power in our lives. And to, through that, experience in our deep desires, our best life, so to speak. So anyone who has studied English as a second, just learning English, I have tremendous sympathy for them, because it's a very confusing language. It's like the word vision, if you look it up, there's all these different ways to use vision. But what we're looking at today is the ability to think about or plan the future with imagination and wisdom. Yeah, doesn't that sound good? And it's so inherent in us. It's so inherent in us. So in this teaching, we learn that the conscious power we have. The conscious power that we have. So, and we activate through vision this creative power to use maybe an overworked word, manifestation of our desires, and bringing into form that which we wish to experience. And it's not always something tangible, but it's an experience. That we all have this desire as human beings to bring something into form. I guess the best way to look at this is like a sculpture. You know, how a sculpture will see a block of marble and they can see something in it, whereas most of us just see a block of marble. And a little sidebar here, a little story, an Idaho story. And a number of years I was visiting a friend up in northern Idaho, and I had gone there because I wanted to meet a lady who ran an orphanage in Venezuela, and I wanted to see if it was authentic, if we were going to contribute money. And so there were all these really very, very good Catholic women, and there's this studio way up in the hills somewhere, very remote, sculpture studio. And so they wanted to visit it because this particular sculptor is famous in the Catholic circles, doing a lot of sculptures for cathedrals and churches and everything. So we went up there, and it was really interesting. I learned a lot. It was lovely. We had lunch, and he took us to his studio. And he had this vision of creating this marvelous thing. I don't know whether it was Stations of the Cross, or if you've been Catholic, you know what that is. Or if it was something just really marvelous. And he was working on this crucifix. And so, there was Jesus on the cross. And he was telling us he had this vision to make Jesus so authentic looking. And so he had his son hang by some bars, so he could see how the tendons were. I'm sorry. And so anyway, it was really interesting. And it was beautiful. And Jesus looked actually very German. But that was okay. That was okay. He was following a vision that somebody had of what Jesus looked like. And I guess Jesus can look like whatever we want Jesus to look like. So how do we activate the power of vision in our own lives? Well, we're always doing that, but how do we do that consciously? And I think to remember who we are, and this is, oh God, you guys, we are so lucky, this is so key, is reminding us that we are here on purpose. And I teach the Enneagram. I don't know if any of you are familiar with that, but for years, and I have always seen a pattern in each one of our lives, that we have been born and come into this experience with a particular pattern. It's not determination, but it's a pattern for each one of us. And we have this, that we are uniquely created to express something, to learn something. We are here on purpose, you guys, that's bottom line. And we have this essence, this soul part of ourselves, if you want to call it that. I don't know what it is, a higher self. So many of these spiritual things are undefinable. We just mumble around trying to define them. But it's something we can experience. Have you ever, just in moments of quiet, experienced that higher self, or known that you're guided, or see something that happened and you're like, wow, there was divine guidance in that place. There is that place. And it's always calling to us. If you picked up the December issue of Science of Mind, there was an article in there by a guy named Sean Genwright. I don't know if any of you read it. If you still have this December issue, it's a really good article. Anyway, I read this and I marked it. And he said, I think what gratifies me is knowing that I am where I am, walking in purpose. I don't believe that what I do is something of my choosing. I believe it chose me, and I have been obedient to it. Faithful to that. And he's a professor, but he also works with young black men to empower their lives. It's like, what is in us is rising out of us. We can do formal visioning, but when we do that, it's not that there's some God that comes down and suddenly infuses us with some ideas and a vision. It comes out of who we are, that we tap into that which is already within us, you guys. And it's about releasing what we are called here to do. It is really about, so that's the first thing. And it's happening all the time. I might have a vision of a neat and tidy house, which I do. I do have a vision of a neat and tidy house, and it's going to happen. And I said, as soon as I'm done with this talk. And when we do this all of our life, and we're unconscious a lot of the time, I love to consciously vision. It's so powerful, you guys, and I know a lot of you already do that. You do that on a daily basis, maybe a weekly vision. You hold a vision for yourself, for your community, for your world. And, we make a lot of mistakes in trying to follow this along because we are in human form. But there's still that presence that is guiding this, isn't there? Even though we stumble. And so being in Idaho, I was thinking about this topic, and I was also thinking about my process along this topic. And when I was raised by my grandparents, a lot of you know that, and they were 60 when I was born. And so by the time I was a teenager, they were in their 70s. And I knew that they didn't know what I needed. And in some ways, they actually didn't know what I needed. So when I was 14, my grandmother decided I needed to go away to boarding school because it looked like it was going to be a really fun year at public school. And she thought she would put a full stop on that right away. And so once I adapted to it, I loved it. It was like a perpetual sleepover. And so I wanted to go back to boarding school, but I didn't want to go to this one. As much as it was a lovely place, they were so bloody strict. I mean, so strict. It was great because it was like experiencing medieval monasticism. And, you know, if you like history, that's a good thing to have done. But I really wanted to go, and I had this opportunity because they played sports with other schools, and I saw these really cool boarding schools, which I was not allowed to go to because there weren't nuns. But so I really wanted to do this, but I didn't want to go back there. And I didn't know what I was doing, but I was formulating a vision in my mind of what I wanted. See, even as young people, we begin to do this because it's inherent in us. And I had heard about this school in Salt Lake City, but I didn't want to chance it because it might be as strict as the one that I had gone to. So I decided to check it out. I'd be smart and check it out. And I just turned 15 that summer. And so believe it or not, we did not have a telephone. And they had party lines out in the country, but we didn't have a telephone. So I just caught the Greyhound bus to Salt Lake City. And I got to Salt Lake City, and I took a cab up to the school, which was very beautiful. And the Mother Superior said, "Where's your family?" I was like, "Well, no, there's just me." But she showed me around, and it was pretty awesome. We got to go out on weekends. We got to go to movies. It was just like, wow, a lot of freedom. So I thought, I got to go here. So I caught the Greyhound bus back to home. It was about 4 or 5 hour drive. Well, I had to spend the night in Idaho Falls. If you've ever spent the night down by a Greyhound bus station, it's interesting. But I was 15 and I didn't know anything. So, I did, and I went there. And I realized, thinking about this, we're always visioning. I just remembering my own process through life. The things we plan, the things we see, the things we want for ourselves. But it was unconscious. And I want to talk today a little bit about conscious visioning, where we consciously begin, because now we can see the possibilities in our life. We can see, as Ernest Holmes said, we were born for good, and good should be ours. There's a power for good in the universe, and we can use it, he said, to bring good into our lives. We are not meant to suffer. We do suffer. We do have pain. But it is not meant to be who we are. That we have the power to bring good into our life. And so, in our visioning, we might just be, I want to finish this project. I'm going to weed today. I'm going to create a garden. Maybe we'll do it or maybe we don't. But what is it that empowers us? What is the process that we can use to really empower us to bring this good into our life? And I only have personal stories to tell you guys. So one of about conscious empowerment. One time, a few years ago, I was visiting our oldest daughter in Connecticut, where she lives, and I was hanging around her office, and I noticed on her computer she had taped a note to herself. And I said, what is that for? And she said, it's to keep me focused. because it's so easy, you know, we begin to do something. I'll start something and I'll go on tangent. I'll start cleaning my house, you know, that's one of my visions. And I'll end up outside planting a dahlia. Because suddenly I think, oh, there it is. It's in the pantry. I think I'll go out and put that in. Do you know what I mean? Have you ever done that? Yeah. So, and so the thing that we vision and desire doesn't get done because we lose focus. And so she said, that's to keep me focused, to know where I'm going. And she was writing a biography. And she'd never written a biography before. And so she really had to focus on this. But she was a good writer, but just not a biography writer. And so what she had focused on there was what she intended. And I remember the first two things. I can't remember the third one. The first one was, I want to have my book on the cover of the New York Times book review section. Yeah, it was pretty big. And then number two was, I want to win a Pulitzer Prize, and I don't remember the third one. And so a year after her book was published, it was on the cover of the New York Times book review. And that fall, she won the Pulitzer Prize for biography. Now, you guys... I'm not just bragging here because I assume her dad has already told everybody, you know, so I'm assuming everybody knows that. But here's what I got from that. There was that note to keep her focused. And because she had written things, but she'd never written a biography, it's a total different genre. So what she did was take an entire year off from doing any other things and learned how to write biographies, and read biographies, and evaluated biographies, so that when she came to writing hers, she knew how to write a biography. Okay, so what I really learned from that, watching her experience, and then of course there was all the research and the writing, and to stay focused with that. What I know about myself is that I have plans and visions and ideas, and then the work comes along, and it gets a little more difficult. So what I learned about vision, and this is what I want to share with you today after her watching her process. And I have watched her because she's been one of my best teachers in this area, is that first we have to get crystal clear. Is it something I really want? Because if we do all these plans and then we don't follow through or we don't achieve it, then we get discouraged, right? And what I want to say is it's okay. We come up with a lot of ideas. You know, just ease up on ourselves, because the more discouraged we get, the less we're going to be able to do, right? It's just like, it gets so heavy. But the idea is to get crystal clear. Is this something I really, really want? Because it's going to require something from me. And to let go of all our imaginations, our dreams of glory, and, you know, is this just a fantasy? To really be clear about that. Because you guys, we are each called to express something within us. We are each called to express something within us. And so if there is something desiring to come out of you, it is there for you. So we get crystal clear. And the second one is, what do I need to know or be or do to create this? Because if it's something beyond what we have done, we are expanding our sphere of experience, then I am going to expand something within myself. What is it that I need to know, do, or be to do this? And then, of course, we form a strategy to do that. Like Debbie was already an experienced writer, but she didn't know how to write that way. And it wouldn't have worked unless the time was taken to do it, and to be serious about that and to keep the focus. To keep the focus. It's not enough to see a form in marble. You've got to take the effort and make the effort to chip away that which is not part of it. And you guys, that's hard for some of us to let go of some of the things that aren't what we are focusing on. But to release that form, something has to be chipped away. Something within us will be transformed. But we can trust that because it is what we're meant to do. And so maybe what's calling you is a deeper experience of love. That some relationship, or maybe, I want to experience joy in my life. It doesn't have to be a profession. It doesn't have to be a thing, though it can be. Because ultimately, underneath everything that we do is an experience that we're wanting to have. To have that experience of a loving relationship, to have that experience of deeper love, to have that experience of just the overwhelming feeling of joy and love, that if you've ever experienced it, you know what it is and you might want more of it. There is something in you calling you to that. And to say to yourself, am I willing to do what I need to do because something in me will change? And change can be a little scary. The odd thing is we may not like where we are, but by God, it is where I am, and I am hanging on to it. You know? I know that one. Seriously. I know that one really well. I know some things I need to let go of in the biggest way if I want to experience something. And it's just like, oh gosh, that's mine. That's my resentment, and I just so love it. I mean, really, I'm telling you the truth. Do any of you have a resentment you really don't want to let go of? Yeah. And it's a worthy one, too. Yeah. Yay for our resentments. We can own that. It's okay, we're human. We'll get there when we're ready. This is how to do it when we're ready. Oh. And so it can be exhilarating and it can be disturbing. Marianne Williamson wrote, as most of you remember this, our deepest fear is not that we are inadequate. Our deepest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure. There's a power in vision, and we can unleash that in our lives. We really can, you guys. It doesn't matter who we are or what it is. And if it's a fantasy vision of ours because, boy, the world tells us this is really cool to be this way, we'll get redirected. If it's not ours, you know that. We'll get redirected. Because that soul essence of ours, I call it a soul essence, you may have your own word, is calling us to the greater good that we can be, to unfold that divine in us. And that divine in us is a place without limitation. How many lifetimes we take to get there, I don't know. But it is within us. And we couldn't desire it, we couldn't want it, we couldn't anything if it weren't already within us. So we keep our focus, and we become crystal clear. And we know that there is a power within us that is present at all time, that is there for us to unfold. It's like, this energy field, moving energy into form. And when there's a focus, it's like a laser. And when we're not focused, the energy is still there. It's just dissipated, and that's okay. But think about focusing that energy and the power within that. There's the power within atoms and energy to explode, just splitting an atom, you guys. I mean, I can't wrap my mind around that. But the power that is available in our soul when we claim it. And I'd invite you to just close your eyes and go with me. I have a prayer treatment I want to share. It's from Frank Richelieu, if many of you might have known who he is. There is a power within me that is unlimited. That power is dynamic energy emanating from the center of all, flowing freely to all by means of my willingness to be powerful in my life. There is a unity, an absolute oneness between the Creator and its creation. There is a special rapport with the Spirit of infinite intelligence and divine love that is benefiting me. This connection is all I need to live my life lovingly, dynamically, and responsibly. Namaste. Have a wonderful day.
This is a song I wrote called Only I. The path is long, but I am calm. Only I can hold out hope. The road it winds, I realize. Only I can keep the faith. I close my eyes and listen. Only I can hear inside. When I stop and listen, I always hear I am enough. In the hardest times, and it's lost its charm, only I can bring the joy. In the hardest times, I come to find only I can shine my light. I close my eyes and listen. Only I can hear inside. When I stop and listen, I always hear I am enough. Winding and weaving, ever changing. Winter comes, then turns to spring. Life reawakens with a new song to sing, and cycles go around and round. I close my eyes and listen. Only I Thank you. Thank you.
What a joy it is to participate in such a lively and lovely service. And part of what we're doing now is recognizing that loveliness, of course, in Reverend Julie and Ari and all of who gather here this morning and in ourselves. And we do that by our intention, our attention, and also by what we give freely from our hearts. Because the gift of life itself is represented in these monetary gifts that each of us bestow in the chapel. Let us go to the offertory affirmation in the program and repeat it together. Divine love, moving in and through me, blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. Thank you, God.
I am grateful. I am grateful for abundance in my life. I am grateful. I am grateful for the abundance in my life. I am grateful. I am grateful for abundance in my life. I am grateful. I am grateful for the abundance in my life. For the abundance in my life.
There's a profound goodness that lives at the heart of our beingness. It has expressed itself this morning in the beauty and the harmony and the love that we've experienced here this morning, and in these wonderful gifts which we so gratefully receive. Let us know the truth that each of us is a gift to the universe with a clear vision of how we can proceed and make ourselves and all around us more abundantly alive in joy. As we know this, let us say together in great joy, and so it is. Let's stand. There's a prayer in the program. It's called the Prayer of Protection. It's actually recited together. The light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. The presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well. Let's join hands and sing together. Let there be peace on earth